Hey friends, welcome to my autumn reset video. I can't believe that it's September and fall is about to be upon us. So in this video, I'm going to take you with me as I decorate my house for autumn. I'm going to clean up a little bit as well, and then towards the end of the video, I'm going to give you some autumn recommendations as far as books and TV shows, movies and activities, and share with you some of the things that I'm looking forward to for this upcoming autumn season. This is the first of many more autumn videos. Autumn is my favorite season, so when September comes around, I like to focus on autumn content. If autumn's not your thing, don't worry. I'm still going to be publishing the unemployed diary videos as well as monthly resets. So I'm going to get started cleaning and decorating my house for this season. Welcome to day 2 of my autumn reset. As you can see behind me, I did get some decorating done. I had a lot of cleaning to do yesterday, which I didn't film because it was just really heavy duty cleaning and I just did not even think to set up the camera. But today we're gonna get started with more decorating and more cleaning. I'm hoping that I can finish up most of the decorating today. So I have my coffee in one of the mugs I pulled out. I definitely want to set up the rest of my mugs today and get those washed and hung up on the coffee stand. I'm drinking pumpkin spice coffee. It's cool outside. It's finally starting to feel like fall, so I'm excited. So let's get started. So it's been a few days and I have all of my decor out. Everything's pretty much set up. The only thing I have to do yet is buy batteries and light bulbs for a couple of the decor items that light up. So I have to do that yet. Since I have all of the autumn fall decorating done, I thought I would take some time to share with you my fall TBR, what I want to read this autumn, as well as some movies, TV, and book recommendations. So I'm going to grab my iPad and share that with you. So the first thing I'm going to start with is my fall to be read list. In one of my mini moments vlogs, I can't remember which one it was, I did start reading Garden Spells by Sarah Addison Lane, and I haven't finished that yet. So that is a book that I plan to finish within the next couple weeks, definitely by the end of this month at least. Garden Spells kind of reminds me of Practical Magic meets Gilmore Girls because it's set in a small southern town, and it's about the Waverly sisters who have magic powers and a magic garden, and the one Waverly sister does a lot of baking and cooking and runs a catering business, so kind of like the Suki St. James vibes there. And I haven't gotten through a lot of it yet, but there is another sister that comes to the old Waverly house and starts living there, so I'm curious to see where this goes. And in the back of this house they have a magical garden, and the whole town kind of knows that like the apples in this garden have some sort of magical powers, so it sounds very interesting and I'm really excited to see where the book goes. It definitely feels very cozy and charming and has a lot of feel-good vibes, so I'm really excited to finish this one. So the next book that's on my to be read list is a book I picked up at a thrift store in the summer, and I've seen this talked about quite a lot the last couple years, so I wanted to read it, and it's called The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. This book is written by Sanju Mandana. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, so my apologies if I'm not. This book is about a group of witches that hide their magic, and they create a secret society to learn and nurture their magic, and that's pretty much all I know about this book, so I will have to figure out more about it once I start reading it. The next book that I want to read is an upcoming release, and it's called So Thirsty by Rachel Harrison. Last year I read Cackle by Rachel Harrison and I absolutely loved it. It's one of my favorite books that I have ever read. So when I saw that she was releasing a new book this year about vampires, I knew that I had to pick that up. I have not purchased this book yet, so I'm not sure if I am going to get it as a physical book or wait to see if it comes out on Kindle or how exactly I'm going to get my hands on it yet, but it's not even released yet. Other than it being about vampires, it's supposed to have a lot of dark comedy and wit, so I'm really excited to dive into that book as well. So I'm going to move into recommendations, and I still have a list, so if I am looking down at all during this little session of me talking to you, it's because I'm looking at my list and all the notes that I put down here. For the recommendations, I typically do this every year, so sometimes I repeat myself, so I apologize if you've already maybe watched this or seen me talk about it in a previous autumn reset video. I'm going to start with TV shows, and the first TV show that I am going to recommend is Over the Garden Wall. When I think of the word autumnal, I think Over the Garden Wall. It's so cute and it has so much whimsy in it. It is a cartoon and it's a couple episodes. They're not very long, but it's just so cute and funny. And I only recently started watching Over the Garden Wall. I think I discovered it maybe 2020, 2021, and I just absolutely fell in love with it. There's a couple songs within the episodes that are so cute and quirky. My personal favorite song is Potatoes and Molasses, and every now and then I catch myself singing it, and even Kevin has said that sometimes that song gets stuck in his head at work and he'll text me and he's like, I can't get Potatoes and Molasses out of my head, and it's just so funny. So if you haven't watched that one yet, I highly recommend it. It's also appropriate for children as well, so if you have kids, that might be a good family watch. Next up on my recommendations list is A Discovery of Witches. So this was originally on AMC, but it is now on Netflix, so I'm actually rewatching it again for the second time. This TV series is based on the book series called the All Souls trilogy by Deborah Harkness. I only started the first book and I never finished it, so I can't speak to how accurate it is from the page to the TV screen, but I really enjoy this show, and I feel like it's really underrated. And now that it's on Netflix, I've noticed a lot of people on Threads were talking about it, so it seems like it's becoming popular all over again. So this series involves a witch and a vampire and other creatures, as they like to call them, and the witch and the vampire are entangled into a conspiracy and prophecy, and they have to work together to help all creature kind, witches, vampires, and demons alike. There is 3 seasons. Sorry, I don't know if you guys can hear that in the background, but someone's using a saw and I have the window open, so if you can hear that, I apologize. Anyway, it has a lot of dark academia vibes because the main characters are professors and they have PhDs. In the second season, they go to Elizabethan England, and there's a lot of castles involved. So if you like dark academia with fantasy, witches, vampires, and mystery, a little bit of mystery and prophecy, it's kind of like all wrapped in one. So highly recommend if you're into that. And it's on Netflix now, so it's a lot easier to watch than it was before. So my third recommendation is The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. That is also on Netflix. This is definitely a much darker version than the 90s Sabrina the Teenage Witch, but it's still based on the Archie comics series about Sabrina. So this series is pretty old, and I think I have recommended it before, but I still watch it every year. I'm really into witchy fantasy, so a lot of my recommendations and things that I watch are going to be around that. But that is my third recommendation. And I don't think I really have to recommend this one at this point, but obviously Gilmore Girls, I'm pretty much already through most of my rewatch. I only have maybe 1 or 2 seasons left. I'm at the point where Rory has dropped out of college and she's about to start working with her grandmother in the DAR. To be honest, once we get to the first couple episodes of the last season, I stop watching it because I think the last season was just so terrible. So I probably will not watch the entire thing. And I also am not a fan of A Year in the Life, so I don't know if I'm going to be watching that again. Maybe further down the road after I stop watching the original show, I'll wait a few months and then watch A Year in the Life, but I typically don't watch it very often because I don't really like it. So that is gonna wrap up all of the TV show recommendations, and then I'm gonna move into movies. So this year on the movie list, I have 2 new movies. One is already out and I have recently watched it on Amazon Prime. It is Lisa Frankenstein. I thought this movie was so campy and quirky, and I absolutely loved it. I was a fan of Cole Sprouse from Riverdale. He played Jughead Jones, so I was excited to see him again in this film. Lisa Frankenstein is definitely a dark comedy, and it has a lot of retro, vintage, 80s aesthetic in it, which I absolutely loved. And there was quite a few scenes of Lisa in her bedroom that I really liked, and a lot of the cinematography I enjoyed, and there was a lot of just stuff in that movie that I felt really inspiring that I kind of want to try out in some of my future videos. So I really enjoyed this one and I highly recommend checking it out. The next movie on my list, I think just released in theaters, but it is Beetlejuice. It is the second Beetlejuice movie, and I believe that came out a day or 2 ago. I don't plan on going to the theater to see this movie because I'm not a theater person. I prefer to just wait until you can stream it and watch it from the comfort of my own home. So I am going to have to wait a few months to see it, but I love the original and I can't wait to see the second one. So the next movie that I have to recommend to you came out in 2012, and I just recently watched it on Amazon Prime, And I was really surprised by the fact that I haven't heard anyone talk about this before because of the cast, but the movie's called Vamps. The actors and actresses in this movie are pretty well known, so I'm surprised that this has not come to my attention before, but let me just read to you who's in this movie. So we have Alicia Silverstone, Kristen Ritter, Sigourney Weaver, Dan Stevens, Wallace Shawn, Justin Kirk, Malcolm McDonald, Kristen Johnson, and Richard Lewis. So I know that some of those may not sound familiar to you, but Alicia Silverstone, Sigourney Weaver, Dan Stevens, Kristen Ritter, those are pretty common names, I think, in film and TV shows and cinema. So I was really surprised that I had never watched this before. And it is very, very cheesy, very campy, and it's pretty cringy. It's definitely not an insane Hollywood production, but it's just so funny. And there's a lot of pop culture references, and it's just like a cute movie. So if you haven't seen that one, I highly recommend. I love a good campy, quirky, just bad, cheesy movie, and this one definitely fits all of those. So the last movie that I have to recommend is one that I watched for the first time last year. It came out in 1989, and it is When Harry Met Sally. It's set in New York City. It takes place throughout different seasons of the year, but there's a lot of really good fall aesthetic shots that are taking place in New York City in this movie, and Meg Ryan's in it, and her outfits are just chef's kiss. I love all of the sweaters that everybody's wearing throughout this movie, and it's just really cozy and cute, and definitely very different from like the dark, campy vampire witch stuff that I recommended. So I wanted to give another recommendation that was different from some of the other things that I talked about earlier. So that wraps up movies, and I'm going to move on to books. I don't have a lot of books to recommend because I'm still making my way through my autumn Halloween TBR. I only mentioned 3 books on my TBR for this year because that's like my top 3, but I actually have a whole stack of books that fit into this season, as well as books on my Kindle and my other app that I use as an e-reader. So if you want a full entire fall Halloween TBR, let me know, because I probably have a list of maybe 20-ish books that I would eventually like to read, but I try not to overwhelm myself because I have a hard time getting into books and staying focused. So I enjoy reading, but I also like reading a bunch of different books at the same time, so I can never really guarantee that I'm gonna finish a ton of books if I put them on my TBR, so I like to limit them. So this year for the recommendations, I only have 2, and the first one is one that I mentioned earlier, which is Cackle by Rachel Harrison. So this book is about a teacher who moves from New York City to a small town in New York, and she befriends this woman who everybody in the town acts kind of weird around, and she lives in this big house, and the house ends up being a little creepy, and the woman ends up being a little witchy, and there's a lot of spiders involved, and I just love this book. If there's one book that I could just read over again for the first time, this would be one of those books. So highly recommend that one. It's really good. It's not too scary or anything like that. I don't think it was scary at all. It's definitely more witchy, cozy fantasy. And the last book is a short book. It is only 3 hours long on audiobook, so you could easily put it on while you're working or cleaning or cooking or doing something else, but it is The Legend of Sleepy Hollow by Washington Irving. I try to listen to this every year, especially since it's such a short read or audiobook. I typically listen to this as an audiobook while I'm cleaning or cooking or something, but I just think that it's so well written and so good. I do have a book that I purchased a few years ago that's a YA book that's kind of a spin-off of Washington Irving's book. So if you want to see my full big list of Halloween autumn TBR, it would be in that list. But yeah, I just love it. I even love the movie with Johnny Depp, so I'm a big fan of Sleepy Hollow stuff. So if you have any Sleepy Hollow TV shows or book recommendations, let me know in the comments, because I definitely want to check those out. That's actually a place that I wanted to go to eventually. I would love to visit the town of Sleepy Hollow. I know they do a lot of stuff about Halloween. So that is my TBR and recommendations for this year. I tried to cut down the recommendations a bit because I didn't want to keep repeating everything that I've recommended over the last few years. So if you are looking for more book, movie, TV show, activity recommendations, you can check out some of my other videos from previous years. I have a full playlist titled Autumn, so all of those videos are going to be in there. I apologize if the camera looks a little bit different. As I was finishing up my video, my card became full and my recording stopped, so I had to empty that and reset all of this. So anyway, I think I was talking about some of the things that I am looking forward to doing this fall and autumn, because if you have seen any of my previous fall videos, you know that this is my favorite season. There's a lot of things I like to do. So this year is definitely going to be really different because I'm still unemployed and searching for a job. So that's really going to limit what I'm doing because I just don't have the money to do that. Typically every year, Kevin and I like to do Halloween hunting. So we go out to the stores, Joann's, Michael's, Hobby Lobby, whatever, and just look at the Halloween and fall decorations. And that's something that is just not going to happen this year because I can't afford to do anything like that. And to be honest, I don't really need anything. I bought quite a bit of newer stuff last year because I wanted to change how I decorate, and I'm really happy with how it looks. The only thing we might do is go to some of the secondhand / antique stores. That might be something that we do because it's obviously pretty cheap, and I would have to set a budget to do that anyway, or try to sell some stuff on Poshmark or something to make enough to be able to afford to do that. That kind of sums up that situation this year. So there's not going to be any hauls or anything like there has been in the past, other than like a very small Trader Joe's food haul of just some of the things I love and trying a couple new things. Besides that, I want to go apple picking. I went apple picking a couple years ago with my friend and her son, and I want to go with Kevin because I typically bake an apple pie every year, and I think it would be fun to just go and pick the apples fresh and then make the pie. Last year, Kevin and I decided that we were going to do an apple dessert bake-off. So I made my pie that I make every single year. It's my mom's recipe. I will never give it out to you on this channel or to anyone else, so sorry, but it's a secret family recipe. And Kevin decided that he was gonna make some sort of bourbon caramel apple crisp, and his was good, but it was way too sweet. So he's going to try to do something again this year because he wants to make the better dessert. We're pretty competitive, so we typically like to do little seasonal competitions like that. So that's something that we're going to be doing again this year, I think. We typically also go to like a fall festival at a farm where we get some pumpkins, some for decorating, some for carving, and we kind of just hang out and walk around. Sometimes our best friend and his son go with us, and we kind of are like his son's adopted aunt and uncle. I've known this kid since he was little, so he's kind of like my little adopted nephew, but sometimes we go with him, and that's fun because he gets to do all the cool like fun kid things, like play games, and there's like a tractor hayride thing and a corn maze. So I'm not sure if we're gonna do that this year, just because we're already gonna go apple picking, and I'm not sure if we're gonna have the money to do all that, but we'll see. I at least want to get a pumpkin and carve it. That's something that we like to do. So hopefully we can do that. The other thing that I want to do is to host a bracelet making girls night. This is something that my friends and I have been talking about for a couple months now, but it hasn't worked out in our schedules to do it. So I think we're going to try to do that at the beginning October. So we're all going to have something that we bring with us. So if I make something, it's probably going to be like a fall themed food or snack or appetizer, and we're all just going to bring our bracelet kits and make bracelets and charms and stuff like that, and just hang out and talk and chill. So that sounds really fun and pretty low cost to do. So I still want to try to do things in the fall before winter hits with my friends that aren't going to cost a lot of money. So that was one of the things that I thought we could do. The other thing that we typically always do in the fall is go on a hike to see all the fall foliage and do the leaf peeping. There is an area that I was checking out in the spring, and we went for a bit of a walk there, but it was really grown up, and Kevin is terrified of snakes, and we saw quite a few little snakes within just like a few minutes of starting our hike because there was a lot of grass and sun and rocks. So we ended up turning around because he just didn't want to deal with snakes. So we didn't get to finish that hike, but I thought it would just be a really nice area to check out in the fall. It's part of a state park that's near us, and it's on an old farm property that dates back to pre-American Revolution. So it has grown up quite a bit now, but you can tell where the fields and the tree lines used to be. So it's pretty flat and there's a lot of trees, and it's just really beautiful. And I was just thinking about how wonderful that would be in the fall with all the trees and the meadow. So I want to go back there and do a bit of a fall hike. So another thing that we celebrate in October is my birthday. My birthday is October 23rd. I'll be 34 years old. Last year, I threw a Gilmore Girls themed birthday party, and that was a lot of fun. Kevin made homemade pizza. I had a Rory Gilmore themed cake. I have pictures, and I plan on uploading like a reel and talking about this more in my next video, which is a guide to having a Gilmore Girls fall. So you'll see more about that later. But that's what we did last year, and obviously I don't have the funds or time to do that this year, so I'm not really sure what I want to do. Kevin always typically either makes pizza for me, buys pizza for me, takes me to dinner, and then gets me a cake or something. So it just really depends on what I'm in the mood for around my birthday. And some years we go and do like a day trip or a weekend trip, but obviously no money for that this year. So not sure what we're gonna do. It really just depends on where I'm at with my job search and how I'm feeling at that time. So other than events and like planned things, I definitely want to do a lot of baking this autumn. I say that every year. I typically always make an apple pie, a pumpkin pie, and I want to make a couple other things. I know last year in my reset video, or maybe the year before, I mentioned that I wanted to make these pumpkin soft cookies, and I never made them. So maybe I'll get around to making that this year. I've been trying to bake a little bit more recently, especially since I'm not working. So maybe this year I'll have lots of time to bake. Pumpkin scones sound really good. I saw someone make pumpkin scones in a YouTube video that I watched recently, and I love a good scone, so maybe I'll make that. In an upcoming video, I am finally making my own pumpkin syrup. If you've been watching my videos, you may have noticed that I've really been into the homemade coffee syrup thing lately. I've made vanilla, I've made blueberry, I've made hazelnut, and vanilla bourbon. So I want to make pumpkin spice, and I have everything to do that. So I might do that Sunday or Monday, depending on how fast I can get through editing this video and uploading it for you to watch tomorrow, because I'm very, very behind on this video. But we'll see. So that's something that I'm going to make, and I'm going to share that with you in an upcoming video. Some of the other things that I just in general enjoy doing is getting outside, enjoying the cool weather, leaving the windows open, having cozy movie nights, turning on all these lights. We have a TV stand that has a heater in it, plus one of those fake fireplace things. So typically when it starts getting pretty cool, I will turn that on, and that just is so cozy. Really, this whole season to me is all about cozy vibes, blankets, sweatshirts. I want to do crafts. I don't know. I'm just like really open to whatever, because I do have more free time. So I want to try to make the most out of my favorite season while I'm not working. I'm still going to have to look for work, find a full-time position or part-time position. So that's still going to be a big portion of my life. And of course, coming out with lots of fall content. I have lots of ideas coming up. I'm hoping I can get all the videos filmed and uploaded for you guys this season, so I'm looking forward to that as well. So that's gonna wrap up today's video. I hope you enjoyed this year's autumn reset. Let me know in the comments below what you're doing to reset for autumn. Are you decorating? Are you baking? What books are you reading? What movies are you watching? Do you have recommendations for me? If you do, let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, please make sure you subscribe and stick around, because I have a lot of fall content coming up. Thank you so much for watching, and I can't wait to connect with you in the next video.